Okay, here we are in my dining area, aka plant area. So for my succulents in here, I have a lot of favorites, not necessarily because they are the most interesting plants, but for sentimental reasons mostly. Let me just grab my little stool, and I'm going to start off at the top, and then I'm going to actually move this glass rack out of the way so I can do the plants that are behind there in the windowsill. So if you hear a crash, that's just me falling off my step stool. Oh my gosh, this thing, it's from the dollar store, so I'm really fearing for my life. Okay, so sorry about the lighting. There's nothing I can really do because these windows are quite bright. Even though it's not that sunny out, it's still bright. So here I have my hanging string of beads, and this plant I am incredibly proud of. I actually just repotted it, and it's over a year old technically, but I had only just a few little strips, pieces like maybe this big with 10 beads on them halfway through last summer, and from that I've grown all of this in my head planter in the other room, and another one that's down here that I'll show you in a second. So let's see if I can get the planter. The planter's from Walmart. And then I just took out the ropes that they had and did my own very, very bad knot job up there. But yes, anyways, my first official hanging succulent plant that is not dying and that has lived for a long time. And yeah, super proud plant mom there. So then moving down to the top of my shelf, I have my Jade Crassula plant, and this is pretty much all that's left of one of the first succulents that I ever knew. And oh my gosh, look at all the junk outside. I really need to get to cleaning that up. But anyways, let me get this really flimsy stool. This plant, let me take it down here. There we go. You can see Prudence has taken some nibbles. It's no longer in an area where she can get at it. This is basically all that's left of my mom's jade plant that she had for years and years and years. And it's finally getting woody, finally. Unfortunately, I don't really know what happened to the rest of the plant. She gave a bunch of it to me, and I know what happened to that part of it. I was able to propagate, and I'll show you what my year-old leaf propagation looks like in just a second. And here we have a very overpriced little guy who's smoking a pipe. It's the only little ornament that I'm ever gonna buy like that, because yeah, he was very expensive, but this is a very special plant. And the pot is actually just from a convenience store by my house. And it has drainage, but I also just have this guy in a plastic pot. So yes, this is one of my favorite plants, even though it's just a jade. There we go. And then I have a teapot that I got for probably about 10 cents in a bag at a thrift store where you could put as many things in for $1. I also got this, it's for tea light candles, but this little thing that I use for my tillandsias, and then also for this is just recent cuttings from the string of beads that I have in the other room. If you ever want something, a succulent plant that hangs and grows super fast, this is the one for you, for sure. And then at the back here, we have another one of my butterworts. It was a pup off the side of a bigger plant that unfortunately, it suffered sudden death syndrome, as I like to call it, when you think a plant's fine and one day you look at it and it's completely dead and there's nothing you can do to save it. So that's what the mother plant suffered from this year, but unfortunately the pup is doing very, very well and just waiting for it to come out of dormancy. I'm gonna probably pot it up with some new moss and then with a tray with some pebbles. And this is the Pinguicula, if I pronounce that correctly, Crosstina. So it's like a cross between two. And I'll put the butterwort that it's crossed from on the bottom of the screen so you can see if you're interested. And it has a very, very beautiful purple and white flower in the summertime. So I can't wait till it does that again. And if you're noticing that my tillandsias look really dry in the background, you are correct. Today I need to give them a bath, and it's 1 day overdue, so yikes, I need to get on that. This is my Schlumbergia Truscata, I forget how it's pronounced, but my Thanksgiving cactus. And I've never seen it bloom because I picked it up for sale after Christmas. but it wasn't a Christmas cactus, I don't think. Yeah, no, definitely not, but I did get it at Christmas time. And I have it in a pot for my mom. This is the pot that her jade plant used to be in, so sentimental value there for sure. It has like different stuff on every side. And I just recently gave her a cutting of this plant, so hopefully it does well for her. And moving down, we have kind of my African shelf, a lot of my Haworthia and aloes and stuff here. So this is my Haworthia African Pearls. I'll put the scientific name on the bottom there. And I thought I'd throw him in a hippopotamus mug. Hopefully he likes that. You can see again, there's some prudence damage. It's grown, starting to grow to that now, but yeah. The ones that aren't poisonous, I used to put on the end of my plant stand until I realized she'd just eat those ones. So yeah, now there's cactus. So this is, I believe, an Aloe Humilis. And there's pups there, 2. There was 1, and then I noticed there was another one coming in, and then a big guy on the side. And if I'm saying the name wrong, it's the best to my knowledge from what I've looked up. Also sometimes called a spider aloe or a blue dwarf aloe. And I think it's going to be needing a repot soon. I believe I saw roots coming out of the bottom of this one, so definitely time. Here we have a Gasteria. And on the back, there's like pink coloring. I've never had it outside, so I'm hoping that that will come out more once it's in the sun. Here we have my baby who's having babies. Pick her up here. If you didn't see my last video, this is my Haworthia Cymbiformis. And yeah, trying to just show you the pups. There's one. I don't know, the lighting was definitely better in my last video, so if you're interested in seeing the pups, check that out for sure. One of my favorite things about this Haworthia is how the light comes through the windows on the plant, where the plant takes in light to photosynthesize. It's beautiful. Yeah, so absolutely love that plant. And it did give me a bloom stalk this year. I left it on for a while, then I decided to cut it out. Cut it off, and that was about a month ago, and now it's giving me the pups, so very, very happy. Okay, over here we have another Haworthia, Haworthia venosa, and there's a subspecies on there, so I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Again, it gets a lot of more pink coloring when it's getting more sun, but I have it slightly away from my window right now. And this is a south-facing window. I do have a balcony overhang in this area though as well, so that is something that I take into consideration when placing my plants. So this tiny little aloe I've had for 4 months. My mom gave it to me. It was just like, it was paper thin. There was no actual thickness to it whatsoever. And I thought, oh my God, this isn't gonna live. There was no roots, but I tried to root it, and it would never successfully have 3 leaves. Like it would just, the third one would just die, and then it would just have 2, and the third one would die, and it finally has 3. The oldest one is getting a little bit of dryness on the top, but I think it's about to put out a 4th. So after 4 months, I think it is going to live, and I'm hopefully when it turns into a real plant, or like a real big plant, sorry, you're a real plant, I'm gonna give it back to my mom, because when I visited her in the winter, I went to go repot her plants, and unfortunately she had a very bad mealybug infestation, and a bunch of plants were in one area together, and they were really badly infested, and her aloe was one of them. Thankfully nothing came on the cutting she gave me, but yeah, so that can go back to her, which is awesome. And then we have another Haworthia, and I'm just spacing on the name of this guy right now, so I will have to put that on the bottom. And he doesn't have a lot of roots, that's why he's in such a small pot. A lot of these ones were purchased during the Haworthia's growing season over the winter. And I have my most recent Chinese, what are they called? Chinese cookie things, fortune cookies. It was pretty cool, so I kept it. And that little leprechaun there was from brownies, when I was in brownies when I was a little girl. And I also was like a brownie leader too, so it's cool to hold on to. And down here we have my Zanzibar Aloe. I've talked about this one a lot lately, so I will just show her. Doing really, really well. This is kind of just a random shelf. Cute little head planter with some string of beads and also Sedum Morganianum. This one is the longer leafed one. So the burrow's tail, I think. And then I just have some Wandering Jew propagating there. Not a succulent. And just a lot of these going around, string of buttons, Crassula, Perforata. These ones look really rough, so they're okay. They need a soil change, that's for sure. I water with, I think they're called BT, I forget what they're called, but mosquito bits, and it puts a lot of weird stuff on the top of the surface. And yeah, it looks kind of gross. And back there, I just have some babies from a large Echeveria or rosette forming succulent. Okay, so that is my glass shelf, and now I have a wire stand there with a peperomia on the top, but I'm gonna skip that and go to the succulents. This little thing here, this little bonsai pot, this pot is full of leaf cuttings from last year that were taken in spring. So these are all now at least 1 year old, I would say ish. The one in the middle was left on its leaf for longer, and you can see a huge size difference. This is when I was first propagating leaves for the first time, so I wanted to test out what would happen. And I thought it would be better to do it the other way around and remove them soon, but from all the results I've gotten in the last year, all of my succulents have done better when left on the leaves for a little while. So the leaves that you're seeing are all new. Like, they've had so many leaves and they've fallen off as it's grown bigger. So even though they look small, they are a year old. So I'm hoping that will turn into a nice jade Crassula forest for me. And below that, I have my string of pearls. So Senecio Rowleyanus, I believe this one. And this is the real string of pearls, which is doing really, really good. Probably will need a water sometime soon. Like, I have watered it, but I'm just thinking, I'm trying to hold off on watering. I've only had a few pearls shrivel up on me, so that's good news. And it seems to be growing towards the sun, and quite happy. I did change the pot out, and I hope to actually get it into a hanging pot sometime soon. And we just have some leaf propagations down there. And I'm just gonna stop this video here, and then I'm going to show you what's behind. Here on my window ledge, I have my Tiger Jade Crassula. This plant has never really started to thrive for me, unfortunately. I'm really, really hoping that once I get it outside, it does, because it looked absolutely lovely when I first got it. Yeah, I've tried different lighting, stuff like that, and it just, yeah, I don't know. Here I have a faux stone planter, and in here I just have a whole ton of succulents, from the sedum, donkey tail, to a little paddle plant, a really beautiful, I don't think this is an Echeveria, but it could be. I think it's something else, but maybe like a grapto something. But I love the variegation and the funkiness of the leaves. Very, very pretty. And different Echeveria in the end there. And if that was upside down, sorry guys. Here it is there, and I'm not sure of the name on that one. I'm kind of gonna rush this end part because I need to be able to upload this in under 15 minutes. Caused a huge hassle last time, so I apologize for talking so quickly. This little guy was very thirsty, and I just gave him a drink today, so hopefully he'll be plumping up soon. Again, forget the name, so I will put it on the bottom though. And here we have my very, very large Sempervivum or Sempervivum, and a bunch of cold hardy sedums around the back. And this guy's been putting out tons of pups. So I'm looking forward to getting him out into full sun and seeing what happens. Or, not full sun, but I mean the actual sun, and seeing what happens. Over here I just have some mixes of leaf cuttings from propagation. And down on the end I have what I believe is an Echeveria Chroma. There's some variegations starting to come in the leaves, but I'm not sure until, like, it's pretty much looked like this since I got it. I'm hoping to find out, I guess when I get it outside, to find out if it's a black prince or knight, I forget which one, or a chroma. And this is my Echeveria Lilacina back there. And it's just waiting for some companions in that pot. It's a beautiful plant. Again, I cannot wait to get it outside and just fill up that plant or two. And yeah, those are the plants that are on my windowsill. So that pretty much concludes part 2 of my succulent and cacti indoor plant tour. I am going to be including, I'm not going to be including all of my propagation because that would just take me way too long. That's all in my living room windowsill. So that will be in a separate video. But for now, I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.